reference points for all of the language in which you use to communicate. So instead of having something that might require like 2, 3, or 4 words, that's a common thing that you would say, you create a new words or like a shortening of some description to quickly communicate things so that as it's happening, the information is being fed to your teammates.
And we are about to be in the game. Here we are. So who is going to be fed to whom? Who will make a leather sofa out of whom? That is the question. Send us your opinions on who should be the sofa. Mihu has a smoke and a defuse kit for the CT side of Virtus.pro. They are defending, sending 3 people towards the B bomb site. Pasha playing close to the shadow position. We see grenades going quickly into the A site. And this will be a prompt one. Rez can raise the alarm that Pasha is in that shadow position, but Snatchy's there as well with 2 kills. And there are problems here on this pistol for NIP.
Snatchy, good damage there on to get right, leaving Lekra alone. We know what he can do with pistols though, and he's got the P250. No Kevlar to work though with it, and that's an issue. That means that he has to be absolutely perfect if the 1 versus 3 wasn't enough already. Some fancy stickers there to show off on that P250. Looks very nice, but will the headshots go his way? Very good discipline here from the Polish side as VP slowly but surely whittle Lekro down. 2 HP left, and surely he indeed, Mihu will finish him, and that'll be the first round going to VP. Good start for them.
Good start in their new colours, the purple and green, the kind of toxic-y colours, if you will. Reminds me of Ivan Ooze, I want to say. Ninjas in Pyjamas will not win the pistol round. So, for those of you in GoTV, I have to suggest Pasha, and I don't know, I don't always pick one per side. I think for now I'm going to go with Pasha. Anything for you, Dan? Pasha and Forest for me. Pasha and Forest.
Probably, yeah, I think I'm going to say Dennis and Pasha. And we'll see if they can get firing off here. These Deagles are really dangerous. And they've actually decided to get Kevlar with them as well. I think there are different schools of thought with this. Some schools of thought is that, with the Deagle, you're thinking about angles in which it's the first shot that counts anyway, so the Kevlar doesn't give you too much. But the Kevlar, if you do get those shots, it allows you to finish a round much more successfully. But it's all about VP. Can they restrict these angles? And indeed, they are doing so quite well. I don't think there's been a single opportunity here so far for NIP. They're going to have to force the issue into a site, and that's where the Deagles get weak. And so VP are doing a really good job here so far.
Mihu's boosted on the default box. Now, what can Barley do? Does he hear... Oh, no one's taking any damage from the Molotov, so he might not know that anyone's there. 42 seconds left. Dennis still in that boosted position in the mid-window. 35 seconds left, and Virtus.pro are just waiting. They are static. And now the footsteps will be heard. There's a flying player from Rez. Mihu will have to engage though, because Barley can't get the job done. 2 kills for Mihu, and now there are weapons to collect. Instant flank from Dennis. Surely spots one player in the market, and this is a big issue for Virtus.pro. Snatchy pressing forward, trying to take out the players in front of him before the one behind causes a bigger problem. But there is Lekra with a Deagle. Would you expect anything less from him? Lekra and Deagles means headshots almost every time.
That was a great round. I think for both teams, I would say. Virtus.pro, what, the one thing you're very afraid of in a round such as that is those Deagle headshots. You don't want to peek those long ranges. You don't want to try to take 1v1s on angles and corners. You want to force them to have to rush down a site where the Deagles are quite weak, moving and shooting as they were. So VP did that perfectly, but NIP, they just had a really good timing, and their trade spacing was very strong. And that's the danger of NIP, that individual ability. And the force buy comes out now from VP. They stack towards the B site. NIP in a commanding position, but can they close this one down?
Moving through the mid area are Ninjas in Pyjamas. Now this presents its own challenges when the smokes are not down. Everybody has to cover everything that isn't smoked off. See how Rez clears connector. Checks the right corner first. The left one is a blind spot, so checks that one second. Behind that box to the right is also a blind spot. You can have a CT there staring at the ground. You can find me there trying to knife people sometimes. Moving through to the short B position now. Dennis, how many players is he about to spot? Snatchy. There's another one by the bench. There are 2 more players. Once again, a boosted default spot. Does he catch Mihu? Yes, nice flick from him. That leaves Bali alone, and that is quite the cleanup. There was a stack towards the site, but they were methodical, they were surgical. They made their incisions.
And that definitely spells problems here for VP, who will have to play catch-up, but they can't really do that much in this round, at least not on the face of things. As we look at Dennis firing off here, great entries found by him, just as you say, very clean stuff. It's such a strong start. Really, this is the worst way for it to happen. If you lose that, win that pistol round and then lose immediately afterwards on the force buys, your economy is ruined for much longer. And so that means there's really going to be a lot less rounds where the AWP might be possible here for VP if NIP play this well. Forrest going very far forward here, looking to see if he can get info. Or is that stack? Is there a stack?
Nice. Let's do the same round or similar. It's unlikely you expect this. Unlikely you see 2 stacks of the same fashion, of the same function. There's a pop flash. Can he get a second one? He can, just about. The spray spreading. Forrest not shy to take a 1v1. Taking the AK away. And now he can try to protect that AK if he recognises that it has fallen. Neo's picked it up though. Potential double peek. Was he spotted getting around the corner? Ooh, he's got the snake gloves. Man, these are so expensive. Can he save the AK though, moving into the next round, jumping up. He's got to take this fight, looking for the taps, but Forrest will deliver the kill. And there we go, 3-1.
Ooh, Rez, the AK too.
Yeah, Rez trying to E the AK. Oh man, you know they made changes to make it easier to pick up weapons. I had a smoke grenade on top of an AK and I couldn't pick it up with the E button, and it was right in front of the entrance to mid on the T side on cache. It was brutal, but I have a demo, so I will send it to Valve because it was an issue. It was a problem.
So with NIP on the 3-1. Got that economy looking pretty fine at the moment. It's early days, of course. And the AWPs come out onto Forrest, and that's going to be really entertaining. Forrest on the T side. It used to be the case that he'd only take the AWP out on the T side. I wonder if that is anything that's really going to be changing anytime soon. It used to be amazing with the T side AWPing on Dust too. Used to love watching that. Neo watching the angle here. Lots of space given here to NIP so far. The smoke will delay things for NIP, and maybe that's time that VP can use to maybe make a play or get more information. So it looks like NIP are set up for a very strong split onto the A site.
There'll be plenty of time left once that smoke dissipates. Nobody in a short position for these CTs, but Dennis goes out early through the smoke and Neo is still waiting for him. Maybe thinking that the CTs would concentrate on the window in case of a boost, as there was a flank on the previous round, but no. Neo has that game sense. And we've got double smokes from the T side. Look at the timing. They pop at exactly the same time. And now we see a creep through the smoke. Neo's trying to play around it, but Get Right punishes him for it. This is looking quite methodical from NIP, but can they close it out?
Another frag coming out from Get Right as well to make things slightly easier, but it's both sides taking the punches at the moment, and less than 30 seconds to plant the bomb. And with no smokes left, this does get a bit scary for NIP. That's a great play from Lecro. Spots both players, takes down one. Forrest in a 1v1 with an AWP. That's very favourable. Can he make it work though? Goes for the quick peek, gets the leg shot onto Bialy. Still a chance here for Bialy as he pushes forwards. Forrest takes more damage, 11 HP, 1 bullet. Can change this one now, and it's going to be for Bialy as he gets himself the kill on the defuse. That is a crisis averted, but the bomb was planted, and NIP have cash in the bank. This could put VP in a bad spot if they aren't careful.
Those smokes were cool from NIP. I have to assume they popped together by design. And I also have to assume that Forrest didn't realise he tagged the player there. Never drew for the pistol. Obviously, the peek like that into a rifler who's standing there is reasonably slow with an AWP. The fact he tagged him in the first place was quite impressive though. It was a nice peek from Forrest. But indeed the plant gives them some extra money, which is in the hole really. because they're good for the buy anyway. Ninjas in Pyjamas still with a round lead, and again on the plus side, only one player survived for Virtus.pro, so now they can look at it as a round to reset them. This is a nice jump from Neo. It can be important to break that window early, but also he has his jump, so when that smoke goes, he has an angle into connector, which won't be commonly looked for by a T player, and that may have a role to play in this round later on.
Yeah, it's cool that we'll see Neo being in these much more active positions in this iteration of VP. Mihu looking to take a peek there from the short position. But once again, NIP, they really feel like, oh, that's a bad miss there from Rez. They really feel like they should have taken that A-bomb side on the previous round, perhaps, and they will hit it again with a similar split. They've got very forward positions here. This will be difficult here for the VP players to defend. Pasha, will they spot him out? That's brilliant spray there, but Pasha still gets himself a frag, goes for another one. Is punished, though, as the 4v3 ensues here, and NIP are doing a good job, but damage still there from Snatchy, looking to slow them down.
One more peek. Oh, he's being teased with the elbow, trying to adjust, but as soon as he looks away, I think it may have been Forrest from the stairs, but there we go. That's another round for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Get some bonus money from the plant as well. Always important. And we move towards 4-2. So indeed, NIP get the reset, and now the consecutive rounds will be a lot easier to win. So again, there is an upside to losing a round sometimes, especially when you're on the T side. So there's not always cause to get upset, because it can present you with a very unique opportunity, and money will be spent. We see Snatchy has picked up a scout, will have faster movement speed than the AWP, so perhaps he can get himself a cheeky headshot and fall back. Again, big presence from NIP and an anti-eco, anti-force buy round in the mid area.
We may see that B play again. You can see this time VP have positioned around B quite often with quite a lot of players. That's a nice kill from Forrest, and Lekra will clear space towards that short area, which will give him the opportunity soon to try to push in to see if he can get any information on the B site. With a flashbang, he can make that peak fairly safe. So we'll see if NIP want to go for this again. And we have to remember that from VP's perspective, they've seen NIP run that round into B a couple times. And NIP are mixing things up. And with the 5 versus 4, you have to favor them here as they look to strike onto that A site. And VP, they seem to realize this, and they start to rotate from B.
45 seconds remain. And Bomb moving in with support on that ramp position, and there's a headshot with the scout. Again, Snatchy can jiggle all over the place with that. More problems here for Ninjas in Pyjamas. They've got 30 seconds to try and shut this down. Then it's creeping through the smoke, going for a round-winning play, but now we have an exposed bomb planter, no cover. 20 seconds for Lekra. He's got to run. He's got to go for this as fast as he can, but he has to assume he's got to expect one frag and a bomb plant at best, and tries to get the other one afterwards, but not going to push CT with 11 seconds left. Just going to gamble. Just about going to get away with it. Here's the footsteps. Where's the second player? The transfer is almost there, but Byali with 13 HP will steal around for Virtus.pro.
Oh, that's a good effort, isn't it? Down to 13. Ooh. Wow, that was a very nice rotation from VP there. They got that in with perfect timing. Snatch, you can see starting things off very well, and Lekra is just so far away in middle. They never expected to take so much in the way of losses. Lekra was the insurance that when the bomb goes down, it's impossible for them to win the round, but got to get the bomb down first. So VP, they're fighting back from this horrible position that they found themselves in, where their back is against the wall, their economy is constantly in turmoil. But NIP are going to be in the same position soon if they're not careful. This is really the round where VP can make the difference, but they've got to stop, winning, when they win rounds, they've got to stop the situation where they only survive with one player. It makes things very volatile indeed.
Soon into the next round, Forrest pulls out the AWP. So everything we said has just gone up in smoke, and this is an interesting round for both teams. If NIP don't get the plant and Virtus.pro win this round, then they'll be in the situation that NIP were in earlier on. Neo smoking the top of mid, I think, for an Astralis-esque play, but he was blocked for a while. As you can see, Virtus.pro have no one in the B bomb site, which explains what their first smoke was. Probably deep in apartments, but is there a read here for Ninjas in Pyjamas?
Yeah, looking to go for a faster pace towards A. And look how they've changed their setup here. Dennis to try to defend that pit position, but the offensive setup from VP will be able to take him down. That's information for NIP, but in reality it's going to be favourable for VP. At 4 versus 3, they've got more information. They've put someone very deep in that position, which allows them to fall back further on this DA setup and play it more safe.
I think seeing 2 players in ramp of Virtus.pro gave NIP a lot of information, and they thought, because they just ran 2 mid and boosted into the window immediately, so it seems they had an instant read as to where Virtus.pro weren't going to be with their other 2 players. You've got to cover B and maybe connect or something, I don't know, but they seemed pretty confident in their information, and they weren't wrong.
And NIP have tried to figure this out. They know that T-Spawn could have been pushed. Forest has the bomb and he's alone. This is very dangerous. 35 seconds to go. The 2 NIP players on the bomb site need to do the damage. Rez will get one, as does Get Right, which really opens things up. A passage is cleared for Forest to get that bomb planted. 25 seconds though to do so, as Get Right holds angles. And he's got to hit the shots because there is no smoke grenade. Oh, there is! Forest will be able to block off that jungle position. And Pasha has not got an angle. This is looking promising for NIP, or maybe not.
Oh, he really had to land that frag. That is brutal. Creeping through the smoke is Bali, but Get Right will spot him. Had the better angle, it seems. And now Pasha, opportunity may have gone. Does he go for the gamble? He wants to draw out a second player. One moving towards that connector position, and Forrest is not going to expect this. The flashbang's there, but it's too late. Pasha doesn't have a kit though. There's one in front of him. You can see it there, but that will draw him out. Going for a 10-second defuse, but didn't even get to 9 before Get Right took him out.
Really nice round from Get Right. You know, he traded really well, very decisively there, and really made it look. I mean, obviously it was a close round, but he looked very confident and almost made it look decisive if you were just watching his POV, as NIP win a very important round. And it was very cool there to see how both teams were reading the situation. You know, NIP were knowingly moving into a spot where Forrest knew with the bomb that he'd likely be up in against a 1 versus 1, but their timing with that push from connector was did make it a lot better for him in the end. So good awareness. Back to the scouts, and well, VP won a round like this previously. Well, NIP have a different approach this time.
Once more, opportunity knocks for Ninjas in Pyjamas. This is the break round. Break the money of Virtus.pro to give Ninjas in Pyjamas a break from the rifles and so on and so forth. But can they do better this time? Minute 15 on the clock. They've got possession of ladder room, and that will compromise some places where the CTs might stand on the B bomb site. One player spotted in apps. That would suggest a B split at this point, but there was some tagging. Bali, can he get 2? Can he get 2? He can't even get 1! And that should be the round now for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Snatchy has nowhere to hide, and Pasha can only hope to pick up an AK and do some damage at this point.
Yeah, it's a big struggle, isn't it? There's one quick kill at the end, but otherwise a clean round for NIP. They'll be very happy with that one, and they will move up to a 6-3 scoreline on this T side. So things, I think, are going, despite some scary situations here or there, they've held their nerve and their composure very well. It's another day at the office here for NIP. You know, just of course, you know, flying in from the playoffs there at DreamHack Masters in Malmö, and we'll see now whether or not, or Stockholm even. And we'll see now whether or not they can, you know, continue on with some of that form that they showed there. Get Right's looking pretty good so far. I've been enjoying watching his POV. VP with a single P250. That's the only investment that's gone into this round. Can't expect too much from that.
Dennis is in B apartments, and he will hear this movement of these CTs, but someone's got to go and collect the bomb before they move up that mid position, which is more urgent now, as they've lost their player in mid. Lekro's gone to collect the bomb. Get Right and Rez are in the A side, and Rez has cleared out CT for the time being. There is a player on the stairs in A standing on the smoke, but that won't be much of a threat. So just that one player lost. Good round for Ninjas in Pyjamas, moving to a 7-3 scoreline as Virtus.pro are back in for the bye. No sniper rifles, Virtus.pro in this round, the 5M4A4s, no silenced M4s to be seen. Smoke grenades and so on. Let's see what VP have in the bag for NIP.
I think so far we've seen, you know, 2 cool defaults for NIP in the way that they take middle and position for that A split, and where they take middle and instead position towards B. That said, we're not really going to get a default in this round. We've got everybody going from NIP into those B apartments, and they're going to go for an explosion onto that B bomb site. This could be devastating for VP. VP have forward positioning on the pit position on A, but will they work this out in time? I don't think they will. In comes the push, and they're out of position.
In the smoke. Do they fall back or do they stand and fight? Oh, that would have been a big frag for Bayali, but he'll take it in the face. 4 headshots, 4 kills across the board here. Bomb is planted. Snatchy moving through connector, and 2 CTs are in market.
Bomb ticking away. If nothing else, NIP have a bomb plant and 2 kills. That's already quite devastating here for VP. Their economy sucks, and Forrest starts things off well. Can't follow up onto Snatchy as he makes his way forwards now from short onto that B bomb site. That follow-up engagement will not go his way as Neo's left with 11 points of health, and perhaps not really wanting to try to do this with that health. And he's going to get shot in the back. There's no escape. No prisoners will be allowed.
Moving towards the right of the smoke, he had to go that way in one sense because he didn't have a kit, but there was one on the floor near the short pillars. But ultimately, as you can see, there's the kit on the floor, but just gave it up. Just gave it up in the end, and you could see there's some frustration on the faces of Virtus.pro. Again, in parts, they've been holding on because of the status at the major until that woeful match we commentated, which I think was on Mirage, if I'm not mistaken. But here they are again with the pistols, and that's a juicy weapon to be collected. Nobody in B apartments to stop them. However, NIP are charging through mid, expecting the CTs to fall back, but they gambled and went through B. So now NIP are going for a super fast split on the A side. We've got Snatchy moving through Palace in the meantime. Miju's running the distraction. He's up close to Brez, trying to reload his gun. He's got more CTs here. And with Snatchy in Palace, this is surely spelling disaster for NIP.
Yeah, they're picking up all kinds of guns. This is awkward. Nice shot from Mihu. Nails get right as Lecro is just have to try to take some guns out of these hands of these VP players. 2 fast frags a minute to play with, 14 HP, and AWP trained on his position. Surely no way he can do this. Oh, the repositioning from Mihu could have created an opportunity, but it would not be there for Lecro in the end as he gets taken out. And that'll be 4 rounds for VP. Just winning all these weird ones.
Cupid's all smiles now. It's hilarious. He had his head in his hands in the end of the previous round, and now he's got a big smile on his face. And indeed, they are winning the worst of the rounds. But now they're in the best of positions in terms of equipment, at least. Full buy, AWP, all the bits and bobs stolen from the previous round. 2 AK-47s on the CT side can make the difference, but will it? Will it make the difference in this round?
Yeah, it's so funny, how NIP have gone through different storylines when it comes to their ability to deal with 4 spies. That said, I don't know if this game is really can speak to that storyline. I think VP have just been very good in those rounds, and sometimes the timing just works out your way. VP, as you say, looking really good at the moment on the equipment, with a strong presence here in middle. Mihu looking for that push. Will NIP go dry? Yes, they will. Dry into the angle against Mihu. Mihu covering the underpass. Nades sent out by Mihu. And NIP will force them back to take some map control.
Vintage Mihu smoke. With this, he can look towards the lower area. He's got a small gap on the left-hand side. He can also jump up on top and look into mid, but he's being sprayed down. It's a good POV to watch Mihu playing short on Mirage on the CT side. Bali left alone now towards the apartments area. Then it's in the kitchen, and his teammates are joining him. Lecro moving through the mid position, maybe going to try and sneak into the short area, but he may meet Bayali. But Bali's jumping. Lecro has heard that now, and surely he goes for the fast peek. Oh, the timing is brutal. Don't punch the desk.
Yeah, there's a chance here for NIP to make this one work quite well, but Neo sneaks around the sights, can't find what he's looking for, and surely it's a save scenario now for VP. You can't really get back into that B site. Hold on to the AWP, hold on to the AK, and NIP finds success here. And it's often quite difficult you never want to give away mid control for free if you can avoid it to the Ts, because it gives them so many ways to work the map, and it gives them so many ways to deny information, so you don't know how they're working the map. That puts you in a horrible position as the CTs. So you try to get information, you try to do some damage, and we can see in this round it's a pretty good effort from VP. They had a good setup. They go 1 for 1 with Mihu's frag, but that 4v4 does favor the Ts. It's just it's a tightrope you're walking. Any one mistake and you're sent falling. It's a terminal velocity, perhaps.
And there is another reset. Virtus.pro have been unable to string 2 rounds together of the 4 they have won. They have lost the following round every single time. That is brutal for Byali. He did concede his position already, unbeknownst to him, so I think Lekro was already at an advantage. But that's just not the way you want to die. You hold an angle, you look around, as soon as you turn away, you get shot in the back. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes that. And we have a timeout, or a pause. Not sure what the cause is of the pause just yet, but we will soon find out. Okay, Lekro is reconnecting. Just reconnected to the server. And, okay, so, yes, technical pause. And I think we will soon be into it. Make sure your Steam accounts are connected to your Twitch and YouTube accounts, because of course there are drops for the major, new souvenirs on different maps. Those racing, there's like the racing dual Berettas and a Krieg, and they both look really, really sick. I will definitely be purchasing those.
Well, back into the match now. 9-4 is the score in favor of NIP, as it looks like they may put a lot of presence here towards that B bomb site once again. A fast movement for the B apps with 3 players, and they have a lurker in Get Right, doing Get Right things towards that Palace position on the A bomb site. Now
you can't get popped by an AK. Something like that. And
there's also an opportunity. NIP could go down underpass after throwing the nades, but it looks like they're just going to go in, James.
Well, are they? Rez has made his way in. It looks like he wants to go towards a short position, catching Mihu off guard, but Mihu's ready for it. They know a second player is here, but I think they're wondering what else is going on at the moment, because the bomb is on a very long rotation. Patch is still on the A bomb site, and they've held, and Neo's moving away immediately. I could see Neo on the radar looking towards shot. I can see him thinking in his movement, but Snatchy is killing with his movements. Lekro in the red now, holding towards CT, but he can't fire another shot, Snatchy. 3 versus 2, one moving over to that triple position, but with only 16 HP, Lekro is surely not long for this. Mihu takes him out, and that's going to leave Forest, but he will get dispatched of as well. And Virtus.pro find their 5th round, 3 players surviving, a second AWP if they want it.
Yeah, and that's a round where I think they were just trying to set Get Right up. You know, you create this push that looks like it's going to be very strong into that B bomb site. You have Get Right lurking in the Palace position. If there's a player playing on the, playing pit or playing the site, it's a possibility that, they're going to be rotating out, which gives Get Right a potential to, hear the running, hear the footsteps. He peeks out, he takes down that player in A, able to create some space, create some chaos, create some positioning for his team. But there was nothing. There was no one going from any positions for Get Right to exploit. So then they were just playing from behind at that point.
Two-man push on a short position from Virtus.pro, but there's a smoke here already. Neo's been taken out. That's a very early frag for Ninjas in Pyjamas, but they're not going crazy. It's an early frag, there's plenty of time. They can try to stretch Virtus.pro, stretch the band thinner until it snaps, and then capitalize on the advantages. Barley not shy to make his presence known. Just having a look, trying to spot, maybe slowing NIP down with all this noise. As that smoke disappears though, he'll have to fall back, but they will hear him doing that, and perhaps they won't expect Mihu in ladder room.
Lekro with an eagle though. Looking to jump into that window perhaps. Ooh, he's going to find an angle on Byali. That is a big frag. That's 2 players now dead for VP. How do they save this one? NIP look like they could be good for that 10-5 scoreline ending the first half. Snatchy pushes the B apartments. If NIP rotate to this position, this could be huge for VP. This could be their way back into the round. It's on Snatchy's shoulders right now.
These teams know their angles though. Rez, I was waiting for that to happen. The way he was lined up there on the X-ray, you knew that peak was coming. And that leaves Pasha and Miku. Again, disaster for Virtus.pro. This is the last round of the first half. Miku's got to go for it in this 1 versus 5. Standing around the connector, wondering what might have been. Again, it looks like there will be no consecutive rounds, but he picks up Forest on that short position. But now 4 players know where he is. Rez will move in and wait. 1 more headshot, and that's 10 rounds for NIP, and only 5 for Virtus.pro on their CT side.
Yeah, so all things considered, a very smooth half for NIP, I suppose. Had some bumps here or there, but it definitely smoothed out. And we think about some of the rounds that VP won. They were rounds where they were force buying. There were rounds where they only had some pistols. You know, weren't seeing a consistency from the CT full buys of VP, which puts NIP in an amazing position moving into this second half. If the pistol it goes to NIP, it's going to be very difficult for VP. They must find a way to win this pistol.
Indeed. 2 players on the T side with P250s, smoke and a flash. The prevalence of the P250 is pure Yoi in a pistol round, on the T side specifically. Much greater range for a 1-shot than a Glock. Can make all the difference. 4 players out in the mid position. Is this a fast charge into the short area? Forest! Oh boy, he is sweeping. 2 players taken out, but the bomb is still collected. And that's a lot of information for these CTs. Rez will stay towards A for the time being. They're rotating, but they're delivering almost all the kills NIP. 4 versus 2, and it seems the plan has been abandoned. The high ground advantage has been lost now towards the B bomb site, but Snatchy will try to clear out A while Neo still waits on shorts.
Yeah, that PT50 doing well so far, although as I say that, Snatchy will lose the 1v1, and perhaps indeed the chances will be shut down for VP. NIP pick up the pistol, and they need to do what NIP did and win this force buy that is to follow. VP is a really tough situation. You can see Forrest here opening things up for his team. Just a spray down with that USP, easy stuff. And yeah, we get the force buy from VP. This has to work. This has to do some damage.
Well then, how do you close the distance? Going Palace is one way. Got to cut the noise now because Rez is in the shadow position. Pasha will slow down before he gets to the ramp area as well. And if they go early, this should be free for Rez. Only the players inside the Palace have flashbangs. And there's Pasha on the low ground taken out. Easy for Rez, make that money, no damage done, nothing at all for Virtus.pro in that round. No kills, no plants. And they got roasted by a UMP, at least in part, which is bonus money for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Not losing a single player versus a force buy is fantastic for your money on the CT side.
Yeah, now VP just have to almost just hold their hands up and just like run into the grinder now, as NIP have an incredible advantage. Just get this round over and done with, get the AKs rolling in to try to fight against NIP, but by that point they'll have 13 rounds already to play with, so life will be difficult. Forrest's first blood rate is 29% compared to his historical average of 10%. Well, you like to see that if you're an NIP fan, and more specifically a Forest fan, and I think it's hard not to be, no matter what team you support. I think, you know, his legacy in the game of Counter-Strike is too great to be anything but a fan of his.
Oh, Dennis has Forest, but Forest can't stand here forever. He's got to deliver this kill quickly, just about manages to do it, and escapes towards Connector where he has support from Get Right as well. The old guard. He can spot the entrance to the B apartments from his position, Forest, although he falls back just before somebody goes in there. So he won't see them going. So now NIP don't know if Virtus.pro are going towards B or A, which means 2 per site, though Get Right is taking matters into his own hands. There's 1, but only 1. Took too many bullets, and now Lecro's got a problem.
Yeah, the M4 picked up, so some damage being done. And let's not forget, though, NIP did win the previous round flawlessly, so this is not too much of an issue so far. As long as Lecro can do the damage, and he will with that FAMAS. 1 more player to go, and Lecro will push for it. No Kevlar here for Pasha. It does make life difficult. No helmet either. And his head will be popped. 13 rounds for NIP, losing only 2 players there. And AKs can come out finally. Finally for VP.
Well then, 8 rounds to tie the score. Virtus.pro, not impossible by any means. They can lose a round, but probably just the one. One and an eco, really. But they will have no intention of doing that. Very early grenades going out. Smoke in the middle of mid and a decoy. Oh, the Molotov has failed, so there could be players behind those boxes. And as you can see, there was a second player by Connector, Rez, to take out the T's moving back from top mid. And now they know no one's there. But it cost them another $600. Hello, Pasha hiding behind the smoke, waiting for a trade fragger, but he's got too many places to look. In the meantime, Virtus.pro charging into the B bomb site, and Forest gets wiped out on short.
Yeah, this is a really difficult situation to retake this B bomb site. VP have constructed a very difficult task here for NIP to try to overcome. Rez will be careful on short. Oh, go for the transfer. Looks good, looked like it could be on, but it was not enough. Get right. And Dennis doing damage! Dennis! That's incredible! One more player to go now, Neo, 1 versus 2. VP had everything going for them in NIP. They can't be denied here. They find their way to success. I don't know how they managed to pull that one off. That was some magic.
Dennis, that frag, what? Just what? They don't deserve that. That was absolutely merciless. Look at this. Oh boy, he's styling and profiling. That was nasty. And that's an enormous frag. But the plant will allow Virtus.pro to get another buy. Very important that they managed to plant the bomb there. 14-5 in favour of Ninjas in Pyjamas. And now we see Forest doing what we saw, I think, from Neo in a previous round. So again, you break the window, because if you can get that jump in fast, you can go between those bricks in the window and the ladder position, almost creating an extra man. Virtus.pro again focus on the B bomb site, but there's a fast rotation from Dennis here. They seem to have a read as to what Virtus.pro are trying to do.
Yeah, they've got everyone in position. I don't know how VP can break this. Dennis close, Lecro far away with the AWP. Oh my god, they're just moving in to the machine, and they're not going to escape in one piece. 5 players survive for NIP as they move themselves further forward, further closer to victory. And 1 more round is all that's required. And we'll see whether or not VP can scrap together enough with this pitiful money to manage to create a dent even in NIP, because some of these rounds have looked quite flawless for the Ninjas in Pyjamas. Okay, so 3 AKs, as he said, and a Galil, and 2 smoke grenades. It's not pretty, that is for sure, but will it be enough? NIP not wanting to overstep the situation. They are playing a passive setup, keep things under control. Just close out the first game easily, don't let it get complicated. That first half seems so much more competitive. VP though, in the second half have been shut down pretty hard.
Well, 3 of those 4 rounds, they essentially had pistols. Sorry, 3 of those 5 rounds. The pistol round and then 2 more very unlikely rounds. So let's see. 1 minute now for Virtus.pro as they slowly emerge in that mid position. Forest is waiting behind the smoke, quietly so, with a silenced M4 no less. Notable at this point. Get right in the sandwich position. This will be hard to check for. Standing deep into the corner, he can't be seen from Palace. There is one. Now he has to press forward to get the second one, but he can't. Plenty of trades around the site. 3 on 3, make it 2 as Miyu is taken out. And Virtus.pro have not yet crossed to the site with the players who are alive, but that's one way to do it by Ali. We've got Forest now in the connector position. The bomb can't go down. Everything is covered. Trying to bait out a peek, but Dennis doesn't believe on the first try. He has an AWP. There's a flashbang from his teammate. Not sure if it works, but AWP certainly does. Spotting, showing a little bit too much. And Pasha, they're both in the red, these CTs. Presses on forward. Oh, he sees him. He's trying to bait the trade frag. There he goes, but the insta trade from Ninjas in Pyjamas, and that will be that. 16-5 over Virtus.pro here on Mirage.
It was a close one, could have gone VP's way, but still, it was a more than an uphill struggle for them. NIP out of the gate though, looking strong, looking clean, and that's what you want to see if you are a fan of the Ninjas in Pyjamas. And they're an exciting team, they're a very exciting team. VP though, they'll have more chances to prove themselves here.
Absolutely, that is the Ninjas in Pyjamas that you want to see, that people have been hoping and praying to see for maybe even a year or two now, I think it's fair to say.